against Rowdy.
I told Chad, I said, hey, man, I'm sorry I downloaded your music on Napster. And he said, it's no worries, dude. Like, Napster gave us a plaque for the most pirated song of all time. This is how you remind me.
What a
fuck you.
I know. But at the same time, it's like at that point, you were probably just happy to have everybody listening.
Yeah, I mean, they did all right for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
the more people are listening, the more ticket sales you can
That's
get.
it.
So,
There you go,
I mean,
100%.
in the end, that and selling T-shirts is where they say you make your money. Still
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So,
Good luck, man.
Yeah, right.
We feel that paid. It's funny, we host 10 events a month in town.
Yeah.
A lot of them over at like Losers
Uh-huh.
and Riley Green's bar now, which used to be Winners. And we sell 70% of the merch in 5 weekends when we're out at festivals for the
Wow.
year. You know,
I
just how
literally
it
have been
goes.
working on a shirt that would sell for like 8 years, and we finally just came out with this shirt, and then we've sold out of one order in 3 shows. I think the last one was because we were with Parker McCollum, and they put our shirt up where you could just see the back, and it was the #1 shirt, and people probably got home and was like, well, shit, I thought this was a Parker McCollum shirt.
That's amazing.
Sorry, dog. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your money, though.
I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of them. There's like, I'm still Broke Boys LLC over here. We're buying like maybe 100 shirts at a time. You know,
Hey.
so I think we sold like 20 that night, but it got
Right
us
on.
sold out. You know, so.
Hey, that's what it's about. When we started making merch, I would make 24 shirts just for like my crew, and I would be like, hey, which one of you guys want them? I'll give them to you at cost, you know, just to try to make our first batches.
Well, the guys like you've seen that Troco clothing company.
Yeah.
I made friends with those guys. We did a shirt together for Forgotten Man, and their whole thing in the beginning was they were just finding like blue collar people on socials that had good following, and just sending them shirts. And
Yeah.
it's like, you start seeing these guys wear shirts and stuff, but I don't have the kind of capital to just send my shirts out to everybody right now.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
That's the new marketing thing. Is like you got to give shit away, I guess.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like when we had Dylan on the pod, I had that hat with like the duck on it, and it's like I see a lot of these like dead duck hats. I'm like, why is everyone wearing this? Like this hat? I guess it's like Morgan wears it or something.
Wallen wore it a few times. Yeah.
That's all it takes, man.
Same
The
as
power of
mullet,
fame.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a wild thing. I remember making fun of my dad in like 05 because I was like, Dad, you got to get rid of the mullet, you know?
Yeah.
Little did I know he was blazing the trail from a couple years later.
Bro, I rocked the mullet till I think 3rd grade, and finally I was just like tired of people talking shit. And
Yeah.
I like went to my dad and I was like, "Man, can I please cut this shit off my head?" Yeah, I guess.
I remember when I was a kid, I went to get my hair cut at like what is that, like Clips or whatever?
Sports Clips?
Yeah, something like that. And they're like, well, what do you want today? I'm like, I want a rat tail.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, well, you just have a buzzed head. Like, we don't just clip a rat tail to you. And I like didn't understand that because I was a kid. Maybe I was just slow. I
It's
just
like you don't have like a magic solution. You can just like rub on 7
Miracle
or 8
Grow
hairs.
or something.
Put in 2 extensions, and that's just your rat
Bro,
tail.
if I ever cut my hair, I mean, I'm sure I will. I'm gonna do something wild. Like I'm gonna have like a skullet, you know.
Oh, bro, if you go straight skullet,
Yeah.
I mean that would be it. That would be pretty epic.
That would be really
Just
cool.
go shave the top.
Yeah,
shave the
yeah.
sides,
Well, like
just-
Hogan.
Or just like fade it in like a classy
Just
fade.
Rick Rubin the shit out of it.
Oh man, I'm getting close, man. We were talking about white hairs earlier before we started rolling, but
Yeah.
it's
I
gonna
got all
happen.
of them.
You can't say shit. You ain't
No,
got.
he has so
I don't
much
see
hair.
a white hair on you.
I got one over
Oh,
here.
you got one. Okay, I see. Uh-huh.
I've been going gray since I was 25,
Bro.
but my dad was gray, like white. Like you see how I have like the almost like white grays?
Yeah.
He was fully white haired when he was like 27, 28.
I started going gray when I put music out for the first time.
Yep, that'll do it.
The stress.
Swear to God, I think there's definitely a correlation.
I'm sure there
It
is.
has to be.
Yeah.
It's like my wife posted this thing the other day. It was like 4 years together. It was like a memory the phone made, and it was like the last 4 years. And our buddy like sent her a text and was like, "You literally see the progression of Elvie's face turning gray." I'm just gonna rock it though. I'm not
Yeah.
doing the dime and all that
I
shit.
did that
way.
for a minute, honestly, and I was like, this just looks so fake.
I can't
you know?
do it, bro.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I'm like, I'm just going to let it run.
It's always funny to see like presidents. You know, it's like Obama. He's like, in '08 or whenever, and then
Yeah.
like 4 years later, he's just like old looking, and yeah,
Yeah, just
wild.
feeble.
And he was
brittle.
the youngest president we had, you know,
Yeah,
for
no doubt.
for a bunch of presidents.
Yeah, it'll do it, man. That and doing the artist thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, huh?
I mean, imagine going into office in like your late 70s or 80s
No
right now.
way,
It's
bro.
like,
Crazy.
what the hell?
Yeah, I'd be on a beach, man. Especially
Yeah.
like Trump. He's got all that money.
Yeah, those guys are
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah,
How you doing?
Well,
Well,
they all do, but yeah.
That's the other thing too. Is like, I mean, you make so much more money being a CEO. If you're smart enough to be the president, you're probably smart enough to be a CEO of a company.
I think it turned it for a lot of those guys. It ain't about the money no more. It's about
No, for
ego.
sure. Yeah, for
it's-
sure.
I'm the leader of the free world. you
Yeah,
know?
that's probably true.
Yeah. DC baby, don't care.
Yeah. I just want to be the leader of like a crew of people that goes to a concert. That's all I'm looking
You
for.
are, man.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what we do here, I guess, you know?
same here, I guess. I just I always say we. I never like to say I. I don't like to be. I don't want to give myself the leader position.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just wish somebody would do all that shit, and I can just like hang out in my tour bus all day.
Write
and
songs.
walk up there and sing some songs and shit.
Yep.
Actually, I can't. I know I can't do that because I've had the opportunity to do that for about 6 months of my career. I had a tour bus 2 years ago, and I couldn't sit on that bus all day. There's some artists that do. I just like I don't get it. I have to like get out. I have to like talk to people. I got to see who's building the stage, say what's up, smoke some cigarettes, something. You know.
Yeah, I know. Like we play this show. I play for Luke Combs. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I didn't.
But,
So, Corey, you know my boy
yeah.
Corey.
Oh,
Hunt, man.
yeah.
He's
Corey
from
Hunt?
Caneyville too. Yeah.
Oh, is that where you're
Yeah,
from?
yeah, yeah.
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, Corey's the best. But like we played the show in Paris, and it was during like that bed bug infestation or whatever. Do you remember hearing about it on the news?
In Paris, France.
Yes.
You know, something rings a bell about a bed bug infestation because there was like a fashion thing going on at the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like fall. But we played this club show, and it was, a lot smaller venues than we're used to be playing. And Luke's bus was out front, and he couldn't like get off the bus because he would just get like swamped or swarmed or whatever.
Well, there is that. It's like certain areas, and dude, I'm a people person too, but
I can tell just meeting you already.
yeah, there's sometimes it's like if I'm in a certain area where I got a lot of family, so I love my family. My family crazier shit house rats too, so especially my dad. So I'm sorry guys, but I need to save my energy for after the show because I try to stay after my shows and like meet everybody and everything.
Yeah.
And there are places where it's like I don't want to be a dick, but also just like I need a minute, know. And you can't just walk out.
Everyone's got their battery, It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yours is always on empty. I feel like these days.
Yeah, we so I've always had day jobs, and we started doing Raise Rowdy full time like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we went from like me hosting 2 times a month to now we have like 10 events in town a month.
Yeah.
We were at 12 for a minute. So definitely social battery changed for me from that.
Yeah.
Like I'm like enjoying my time at home on the back porch by myself with either a cigar or something else to smoke out there,
Yeah. Well, man, it takes a lot out of you. I mean, I have been really struggling to find that guy that I was a few years ago when we were pushing the first single to radio and the record had just came out, and I was super happy-go-lucky, excited to meet new people, be in crowds, everything, and it's like, I think literally that year and a half, that 2 years of all that work just really drained that out of me.
Yeah, dude.
And it took so much freaking like serotonin and dopamine out of my body, and then I was replacing that with Adderall, and it's like, it's been 2 years since I'll be 2 years in December since I've touched any of that, but
Hell yeah.
but I feel like doing that for so long and then doing that to replace it for so long. Now my body's just like, no, we don't make that shit no more, man.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I took MDMA. Like I only really did it once, and for 2 weeks after, I was just like a lump, and I didn't really realize at the time what had happened to my brain. But
Oh.
Well, we would just do twice as much the next day when
Yeah.
that happened. That they always said MDMA or
Hair of
acid
the
or
dog,
anything. You have to
whatever.
take, you got to take double what you took yesterday, or it won't do anything. Yeah, plenty of run-ins with that stuff.
It just like that's how drugs work, man. And it's
Yeah.
like
That's
like
why
some
they're
people
bad.
like they're like I do shrooms and it makes me feel great, and the next day I'm no hangover. When I did shrooms, like just drink water, didn't eat a lot of food, and chilled. Put the Tool record on, set the vibe, played some video game, and the next day I felt terrible. I'm like, I'm not doing this again.
Bro, I just did shrooms for the first time in like 6 years. Like maybe a month ago, I had a Saturday at the house by myself,
There you go.
and I slept for 3 days after that. I just could not get up.
Same.
I've also stood buck ass naked in front of all my windows in my living room, thinking, all the windows are open. I'm naked. All the windows are open. Oh shit, I'm naked and all the windows are open.
Song loop. Is that how you got that song title?
I'm buck ass naked with the
Naked
fan
fan
on.
on.
I did. Actually, funny story. I had never written with Hayes Carl or Driver Williams, and I was at a.
It's a great room.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. We were doing this songwriters retreat here right outside town at this old like plantation house or something, and I walk in the room and Driver's like, "Hey man, me and Hayes had this idea a couple weeks ago. We were kicking around. He's like, feel like you'd be perfect for it." And I was like, "What is it?" And he's buck ass naked with the fan on high. And I was like, "We got my attention." I was like, "What the hell is that about?" You know?
Yeah.
So we just went down the road. And man, that song has been so much fun to play live. Like people like every single time we've ever played it, people are singing it by like the second chorus. Sometimes by the end of the first chorus. You know?
That's when you know you got them. You know.
Yeah. It's like I go from My Boy to buck ass naked with the fan on high.
And then into chicken shit.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's my biggest problem. I literally just had a radio person tell me at a show here all back there. It's just like, well, you did My Boy, and then you come out and it's just too different. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'll just keep writing My Boy, and then I guess it's like, how many more times can I do that? It's
Yeah.
like, there's no I can't travel around any. That was a whole thing with Damascus. Was just I literally came up with a concept that just gave me a reason to free up, like exploring everything from Outside Dog to does Heaven Have a Creek, and I was like, well, if you make a Damascus knife, oh god, I'm having PTSD from all the album release media right now.
Yeah.
But it's like you take all these different metals, you throw them in the forge, you beat them together, and you make this beautiful blade with all these different elements to it. And I was like, I wanted to focus on all of my genre, all the different genres that have inspired me over the years. We grew up listening to everything.
Sam.
Like,
Yeah.
Even just like Outside Dog, I feel like that song has like 3 genres in it.
dude, there should be no rules.
There's no rules on that song, I don't think.
There should be no rules. You should just be able to do whatever. All I try to do is chase a feeling. And it's like the feeling is the same for My Boy as it is for Outside Dog or Chicken Shit or Just Heaven Ever Creek. It's like it's just something that says I want to sing this. I feel like I can get people to feel what I feel when I was either writing this or when I finished it and sang it for the first time and it connected with me. So whether it's freaking Follow the Leader by Korn or like The Race Is On by George Johnson. It's like I don't care what it sounds like. I never claimed to be a country artist, I just am a singer and a songwriter and want to sing shit that I feel something from.
Well, and I mean, I think that honestly, your music, I feel like, is a good representation of who you are now that I've gotten to like meet you, because it is a little bit all over the place, but it all fits. They're all like everything is. There is continuity to all of it when you listen to it. Specifically, Damascus as a project, like it's a little bit weird, but I think that's the thing. You
Dude,
know,
I'm up and down. I mean, you guys have already seen up and down since I've been here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I get frustrated much more quickly these days, but I also get over things really fast too. I've always had the ability to be really pissed off for 10 seconds and then be like, okay, that's over,
Yeah.
But that record's up and down. I mean, all I can do is do music that reflects,
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, I mean, I just got a great team of guys around me that are great songwriters, and I argue really well. I thought about being a lawyer one time, but I figured out you don't have to go to school for 8 years to be a songwriter and argue with people and hope you win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Fuck man, I'm just trying to tell the truth as loud as I can.
Hell yeah.
I remember before My Boy came out, we got to hear it at like writers rounds and stuff, because that was kind of like when I got to town. and just getting to hear the power that song had on every room it's ever been played in, of course.
I remember the first time I heard it, like, I remember seeing, like, where were you when this happened, whatever, like 9/11. I remember we were at Live Oak, and we were having a meeting about some live show or something, and they played all the music videos on, and I heard that first line, I was like, what is this? And I had never heard it before. Yeah, and it was just like, holy shit, like, this song is fucking amazing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I remember it
appreciate
so clearly. Like, it's weird.
It's like it's such a huge blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I even told the label when we got the deal, because they signed me on that one song back in like 2018 or whatever. And I even told them, I was like, I don't want to put this song out first. You know, it's like this is going to be a false representation of what the rest of the shit that comes after it is going to sound like. But, you know, adamant about it, and it worked. It did the thing. But it's like there's been times where I've just been so frustrated with people not latching on to the new stuff when I know I've put just as much heart and soul into that as I ever did any of the other, or that or anything else on Backslider. That I'm just like, you know what, I'm not even gonna play it tonight. I'm not doing my boy at this show tonight, you know. And then I'll like run into somebody right before the set, and they'll say some shit like that, and I'll be like, gotta play my boy.
Yeah.
We've heard that before too.
And I look out and I see some dude with his kid, his boy or his daughter or something, and it's just like pointing up and like crying, and I'm just like, who am I to take that song out of the set when, you know, I mean, it might not be the sound, you know, that song is an anomaly, whereas, you know, the sound is concerned, but it does what I want a song to do. So.
Yep. And I mean, we've had that. I think we had Matt Stell on, and he kind of had the same sentiment about like, you know, love song is kind of what made him pop. But he's like, I kind of feel more tied to stuff that sounds more like who do you say he did a record with that didn't come out? I forget. Maybe Isbell produced a record for him or something. He's like, I feel more tied to that, but like, this is what people know me for, and it's hard to get out of that. And we're buddies with Trey Lewis. We got a DDID plaque down here, and that's definitely been a challenge for him, you know.
I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come out of the gate with something like that, buddy.
Yeah, but and that's, I mean, again, like same thing. Like when you were talking about it, you kind of knew that it might be that. But at the same time, that song's so powerful. DDID, so powerful. You know, like it's just, it changed people or made them at least pay attention. And now it's just, all right, how do you twist it so that you can get them to pay attention to every other thing that you love even more?
I've just been trying to keep being honest, whether it's that or anything else, you know. But also there's like, sometimes you just got to change your damn name, you know, and start over fresh. You know, I mean, there's been people who have to do that because of the same shit, or you know. But I ain't trying to yay on them or nothing. You know?
It's like converting My Boy fans into Elvie Shane fans, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I haven't really ever.
I got it from Nick, so
I've never really.
I'm sure I got it from someone else too.
Matt, yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And all we can do, I mean, dude, I was just looking the other day, and I suck at social media. Like, I am so bad at it.
A lot of artists feel like that, too.
Well, it's just that I hate it.
A lot of artists feel like that.
Yeah, you know, it's just that I hate it. And I came in, I'm kind of an older guy, I guess, in the game compared to, like, what's going on right now. But I kind of came in on the tail end of the old way of doing things. Like, we were starting to talk about social media, Instagram, when I got to town, but it wasn't like it is now, obviously.
What year did you get to town?
2015.
Yep.
Came October.
So that was kind of the start of that wave.
Yeah, but you know, at the same time though, it's like I would love to start a podcast one day. So I was like,
you'd be great at it.
I
I think it'd be fun, you know. And but it's like somehow I want to be busier also, but I feel like I don't have time to do shit as it is, you know. But
that's my MO.
Brother.
I'm like, I should do this. I should read this book. And I want to practice this thing. And then I'm like, by the time I like cook some food and like get a shower, I'm like, there goes my whole day. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna sit here and watch Gangs of London and chill. You know, that's a great show, by the way.
Really good show. I kind of feel the same way. It's just everything's overwhelming, and it's like I had a day job and then did stuff after, you know?
Yeah.
And then sometimes that's easier because you can compartmentalize things. You know, it's like, okay, that switch off, this switch on, you know? But at the same time, it's just such a blessing to be able to get to do something that is in the creative space, and to get to talk to artists like you and hear, your story and what you're going through is just such a blessing.
It is a blessing. It grows harder sometimes to like check yourself on that. I think just like remind yourself that I'm not shoveling gravel in a pipeline ditch for $350 a week right now. And it's like. And I've done that job, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that job. That was the best money I ever made until I started doing this. But it's like I wanted to be doing this, and then I'm sure y'all feel it too. Just
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong for complaining sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not like people. We know you're grateful for what you have. At least I am. But sometimes you just got to bitch about stuff.
Yeah,
just
dude.
Part of being alive.
It was just who was it? Like 2 weeks ago. That just went viral. He posted, oh my God, whiskey on you. Jesus Christ, my brain's not working this morning. I ain't gonna waste another shot of whiskey on you.
Who is it?
Jesus Christ, my brain.
I don't know. Papa Google.
I have the
on it.
internet.
I need more coffee. I've
That's why I
hung
got
out
4
with
of
him
them.
like 3 or 4 times. We did the Opry Next stage together.
Nate Smith.
Nate Smith. Jesus Christ.
I was literally talking about him
brain,
yesterday.
Man, it's not working. But he just posted that thing the other day, just talking about all the pressures of like keeping up with socials and all that stuff. It's like, and then this another friend of mine, Jordan Rayner, she posted this really, I would say beautiful video the other day, just talking about she's been trying, she's got the work ethic, she's got the talent, she feels like she's got the songs. It's like, and just every day she posts something, hoping this is going to be the thing that does it, and then it's just flies away.
It's
and
tough.
You get a few hundred views, and it's like it's tough, and we say it's tough, but we don't actually. I don't feel like people actually really talk about how fucking tough it is, man. Like how we are hinging our entire lives on this thing, hoping that this pays off, so I can sell more tickets or I can get more involved in doing shows or helping artists, giving them more of a voice on here and stuff. I don't know. Haven't been in a good place with it lately.
Well, you're not alone, man. There's even people that I know that a lot of people would say are very successful feel that way too, man.
Yeah.
I just feel like this last year or so, it's just been such a shitty time to be an artist.
It's hard. There's a lot of music out there.
It's saturated for sure.
Yeah, country's bigger than it's ever been, which is good because that means there's listeners.
Yeah.
But it's also just every week there's like 150 songs. It's nuts.
And it's like every week or every few weeks, couple months, there's this new superstar that had, that's got one song that they posted, on TikTok or something that blows up. They're selling 1,500 tickets all of a sudden, just like that, And it's just like, and then people, just like myself, I've been here for 10 years. We're just grinding it out the old school way, hoping old Mr. Algorithm will give us a chance.
Yeah.
But it's also it's really cool too that's a possibility that you never know. Like tomorrow could be the day that somebody shares a video from a concert or something. It's just like my boys at Red Clay Strays. Like I met those dudes. We played Canary Row. How do you say it?
Yeah, we were there last night.
Yeah, we were there watching Alex Lambert.
Yeah.
Who I wanted to give a shout out to. You got the
My
ticket
ticket
stub. I thought you picked up mine. I thought it fell in my pocket. Dude, it's sick.
Yeah, it's great.
Dude, it's so smooth. When the power went out,
Yeah,
it was a beautiful moment.
it was.
Because the power goes out, it gets super quiet on stage, and then they like grab their acoustics, and they're just like, fuck it, we're going to do this thing. They're standing in front of the stage, like singing, and then all of a sudden the monitors come back on, which I think on stage they thought everything was back on. And I'm listening for a second. I was like, but everybody's like pumped. Now they got sound again. It's just the monitors on stage. So they're playing, and that's for the second chorus or the bridge part. And then for the last course, all the power comes back on. And I was like, I sent him a message last night after. I was like, dude, it actually turned into a really magic moment during the show.
It's funny when shit gets fucked up. That it really makes cooler, more unique concerts.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way with the music. You should just let things be kind of, screwed up sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be all precise. I think we were talking about Red Clay Strays, and I think that's something that was so beautiful about those guys. You know, and they were just recording music, you know, with their homie down in like Mobile, Alabama, or something. But how do you say it? Cannery
Row.
Cannery Row.
Yeah.
We'd say Canary over in Caneyville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I did the same with BMI, and I was so wiped out. I was ready to go home. And Red Clay Strays were going on after. And I was walking out the door. Me and my buddy Chris Poole were walking out the door, and like heard the first note come out of dude's mouth at me. And Chris looked at me and said, "What the hell is that?" And we turn around, we see the dude just like, you know. I was like, God dang, Jerry Lee Lewis is back, you know. Like, Elvis is here. What's going on? Watched that show, and then, you know, took my wife and watched a couple more of the shows when they come around town. But those guys are a prime example of just like keeping your head down, doing the work, and shit
Be
paying
unique.
off. Yeah, shit paying off, and for the right reasons. It's really sick. It's been really sick to watch them. I saw last night they sold out. I guess it looked like they sold out the Coca-Cola Roxy or whatever.
So cool.
That's sick. They're a great group, guys.
Yeah.
Faithful guys too. I dig that about them. So is Alex. I got to snuck in backstage last night and had a little prayer with them before they went on stage. That was cool.
Yeah, and he writes about it too.
Yeah.
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 I have a funny story with the Red Clay Strays. I was playing with Ashley McBride, and we were opening for church, and they were like the first of three. And they were touring in a minivan, and I walked out and I was talking to the singer. I'm like, "Hey man, great set. You know, it's cool. Like, here are you guys." And this was, I guess, a year ago. So like, they weren't what they are now, and they were still badass, but it's like they just weren't as popular. And so we were talking, and he's sitting in this minivan, and then he just like rolls the window up, and it's like, like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, sorry. Fair enough, dude. Yeah.
They just rolled it up on you.
I was like, all right, man.
That's
But
wild.
it was Brandon, the lead singer.
Yeah.
He's a super quiet guy too.
Oh, yeah.
Super quiet guy.
I'm like the opposite. I'm like you. I feel
Yeah,
like let's just
a little
like talk
high-strung,
shit.
yeah.
Or I can just talk a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I get it from my mom, but
I get
some
it
people
from
aren't
my
that
dad.
way. You know.
I
Yeah,
definitely
it's,
get that from my dad. Well, my mama can talk too. But I
yeah.
get that from my daddy.
Yeah, my mom's a talker. My dad was real quiet growing up, and then as he's gotten older, he's talked more, and my mom's talked a little less. So it's still the same amount of talking. It was just like 95% my mom before, 5% dad, and now it's kind of evening out.
I didn't realize y'all kind of speak a little bit of Kentucky up there. It sounds like.
Well, I grew up about 20 minutes from the West Virginia line,
Yeah. Okay. There it is.
and then I've been down here too.
I ain't really heard
So,
it until he
yeah.
started talking just then. I was like, wait a minute, I hear my language.
Yeah,
What's going
yeah.
on? And I thought you said you was from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I got some of the Yinzer accent in me, but I used to work at a call center. Like my first job out of college was a Verizon wireless call center, and they were like, "Are you from the South?" And I'm like, "Well, not really, but
Yeah,
you know, we're like adjacent, you know."
Dude, I got fired from a call center job because I was warning, Mama and Papa about the trick with stars. Like, I would sell them stars. I'd be like, "Listen, Mama, what you need to do," or Papa, but Papa would always be excited. He's like, "You may not get the Westerns channel for 3 months for free." I was like, "Yes, but if you don't call on that last day and cancel, you're gonna be paying $17.99 a month, buddy." He's like, so I was like, "Write this down." I'd tell every one of them. Some of my manager comes walking out there one day. He's like, "Hey man, I just don't really think you're cut out for this job." And I was like, "Well, I've been making sales." He's like, "Yeah, but they're all gonna cancel their sales before we get any money." I was like, "Well, I thought that was the thing." I'm just trying to help my people out. But
I was kind of the same way in the cell phone, like
Sales is brutal, man.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, you can, if you love this, then keep it. If you don't, then call by this time that I put 2 days before in your phone to do it.
Yeah.
But hopefully you love it and you want to stick with it." But we were the same way, and it's sales metrics you got to hit. We would get charged back if we sold something and it didn't come back, so it would come off your numbers the next month. But enough people did still keep it where it like kept on. But I'm the same way. I'm like, I want to be the smart friend.
yeah,
I don't want to be someone that's abusing my power of knowledge to like screw people over.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like that's kind of how you make your living in some sales positions.
It is.
Not all sales positions, but in some sales positions, it's like you got to kind of be a little shady with your pitch. Like I went to AT&T, brother. I don't know if y'all got any kind of deal with AT&T.
No, we will though if they make us money.
You won't after this because AT&T is just, they are terrible, man. I go in, I tell this kid, I said, look, man, my phone won't come back on. I've took it to Apple. I've took it to another AT&T store. They said it's done. I was like, I've only had this phone for like 11 months. I was like, and my bill is like $360 a month, and I only have, no, I'm sorry, it was like $280 at the time. I said, I only have 2 phones and 1 iPad. It's like, something don't seem right here. So he said, well, dude, you got a business account. Looks like here, if you take this deal, you'll get a free iPad and a phone, and your payment's going to go down to like $130 a month, $140 a month, something. I can't remember the actual numbers. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, it's a promotion, blah, blah, blah. I was like, he shows me the numbers on the iPad. I'm like, cool, let's do that. And then I leave. He said, now that first month is going to be like $400 and something, but after that, it'll go back into. I'm like, okay, cool. So 3 or 4 months later, I'm thinking, I wonder what my phone bill is. I look, it's been over $400 every month. I was like, he just got me.
Yeah.
And then I go to my homie up in Kentucky that works at AT&T, and I tell him, he's like, yeah, man, he got you. He's like, they got a way of saying things, you know. It's like, oh, damn.
At least get a free iPad.
Yeah.
That you pay $200 a month for.
Right.
Yeah, that was the hard part for me. And then I worked as a salesperson, and I was fine because I could do things my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as long as my numbers were good, they didn't really care. You know, if I was hitting my numbers, but then when I got into management at the cell phones, I was like, oh, this is dirty.
Bro,
you know?
management and me never got along either. I had management one night. I was the kitchen manager at Overtime Sports Bar and Grill in Bowling Green, Kentucky for one night, and I found out that I can't cook 4 steaks at different temperatures at the same time. And so I went back to the pizza oven after that. But
You're like, we're good.
I just always liked turning a wrench more than anything, honestly. It was like, if you bring me something that's broken, I can take it apart and put it back together, you know? And that's easy as pie. It's just like, and if it's hard, then I'm always like, somebody did it for the first time, so surely, God, I can figure it out once it's been put together and brought to me.
Yeah. You would be helpful to have around with me and Kurt because we're the opposite of that.
Yeah, I'm not very much. Yeah.
Very handy with the tools.
I'm better. I can play guitar, but other stuff, I'll just hire someone, play to my strengths.
Hey.
I know what I'm good at.
Hey, that's it.
Hey, I want to ask you a question about Luke. How many times a month does he have to buy your drummer a new ride?
Oh, you mean because when he smashes it? I think it's only happened a couple of times.
Okay.
But
I feel like I've seen so many videos, and I'm just like, that drummer and him must have a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Or the drummer hates Luke.
He no. It's like this one cymbal that he hits, and like he doesn't even use it. So it's just a China cymbal. So it's like,
oh shit.
and
It's there for that.
Sabian will
fun.
give them whatever they want. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, Jake plays super nice drums. He plays Craviotto.
Ooh. I don't even know that, so it must be.
You can't afford them, yeah. For sure. So it's like sometimes he'll throw, like whatever, we're on one or whatever, and it's like Jake's like, not my fucking drum kit, man. Whatever, Jake, you'll get a new one. It's fine.
Oh shit.
So funny. Well, Jake, he's fine. He bangs the crap out of those anyway.
Yeah, they're fine. They're drums. That's what they're supposed to do.
Luke was really cool to me over social. I've only ran into him like one time way back in hurricane days at Losers, but he was cool to me on socials when My Boy came out. He was like, gave us some love on that.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to give away a Ford truck or something, and I was like, yo, I'd like to have that truck.
Yeah.
And, he was like, well, you keep writing songs like My Boy, buddy, and you'll be able to have as many of them as you want or something. So
Fair enough.
I think he works a lot with my buddy Eric Dillon or has.
For sure.
Eric's such good people.
We love Eric.
Eric's a badass artist too.
Really is, man. His albums,
Incredible.
every
This is the
road
number
trip.
one Eric Dillon fan. Right
Every
there.
road trip that I'm on with someone new, I'm fine sharing it with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Every road trip I'm on with someone new, I'm like, let me show you some of the best music you like probably haven't heard in 5 years at least,
That first record, like, what was it? Have you ever heard the crash of a 10-pound bass? Split black muddy water on sundown cast. As he kisses the sky, spits that hook Like he hopped off the page of a Hemingway book. What the what? It's
I remember
insane.
the first time I heard it, I was like, this thing. I like this thing. He was out on the road with Cadillac 3, and he was in Morgantown, West Virginia, at this little club called Schmidt Saloon.
R.I.P.
Yeah, we miss you, Schmitz. It was a great spot.
It's gone.
And Owen Schmidt was an NFL fullback, but he was like a West Virginia University legend.
Yeah.
And he started that bar, and him and the Davison brothers, or I don't know if you know them, but they're artists from West Virginia. They kind of like partnered up on it, and yeah, man, it was a great bar. Like
The Davison brothers that everybody talks about like writing with all the time. Or there's like
I don't know
there's a pair of brothers that everybody talks about writing with all the time that I haven't written with yet.
that might not be them,
Okay.
but they're buddies with like Rob Snyder and those guys. Like probably Eric even. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but
I probably ran into them a few times and just smoked weed since then or something, you know?
yeah.
I
That's
don't
how it
even
works
smoke
sometimes.
that much because if I like one hit and I can't remember my name the next morning. It's
Yeah.
bad.
I got a funny Eric Dillon story I'd love to tell because
Yeah,
it just
tell
shows
it.
like how cool of a guy he is. I live in East Nashville and I was going for a jog, and I came across there's this bar, and there was all these cops there, and I was like, oh, someone got in trouble, and I ran by and I see Eric Dillon sitting on the curb. I'm like, what up, dude? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I just got in a fight. I'm like, oh, he was the reason the cops were there. I'm like, well, what happened? He was like, well, I was sitting there minding my own business, and this couple behind me were arguing, and the guy hit the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eric was like, okay. So walked over and took the guy outside and just beat the shit out of him. And then the cops came, and they're like, what happened? And Eric's like, this is what happened. They're like, all right, you're good to go. This guy's going to jail.
Bro, I got kicked off of a plane for that same shit in Nashville here like last year.
Nuh-uh.
I can't do that. Like
No way.
I don't even care how big you are. I'll climb you like a spider monkey if I see that shit. Like so I sit down, this dude in front of us is hammered drunk obviously, and he is just talking terribly to his wife. And it's me and my tour manager. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, all right. Mind your own business, bro. It's just words. Mind your own business. Well, then he like smacks her arm, and I just stayed facing forward and was like, and I'm no badass. All right, I'll fight you, but I'm not a badass. I'll get my ass kicked. That's okay. I can handle it, you know. But I'm like, all right, buddy, that's about enough of that. You gonna chill the hell out, or you gonna find out how bad you're pissing me off? And he just turns around, and he's like, that's fair. That's fair. Well, meanwhile, freaking some dork runs up to the front that I'm not aware and is like, this guy's starting fights. So they come and get me and haul me off the plane. And I'm like, I was like, look, man, the dude hit his wife. He's been talking. He's been calling her every name in the book. I had all of it. If my mama knew I sit there and watch that shit, she'd beat me for not doing anything about it. And the flight attendant looks at the other flight attendant and says, well, he told her to shut the fuck up as soon as he got on the plane. So he's been being a problem. I was like, why didn't you kick him off then? You know?
Right.
Well, finally, so evidently he's in there like looking at my tour manager saying, oh, too bad. You know, just smart ass as hell. They bring me back. They walk him out. And it's like, and then he forgets his phone with his wife. His wife was going to leave his ass there, but he forgot his phone. So she had to get up and take him his phone. It was just a mess, man. So I got kicked off and let back on. I was like, you can't that's not cool.
No.
So they took you off, then they took him off, then you got back on.
I got back on the plane.
And he did not.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I was like, it worked out. I was like, good prevails today.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? There's been plenty of other places where it hasn't, but that day it won. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, good on Eric Dillon. I mean, I can't really see Eric doing that though, too.
Yeah, man. Don't fuck with Eric, man.
I mean,
Eric is he's a relatively calm guy, but I could see if you pushed him the wrong way, you know.
yeah, I mean, for something like that, especially.
He's a family man.
Probably
you know
let
what
a
I
lot
mean?
of things slide, but
Yes, exactly.
he's still just he's just an old school dude. He's a good old boy.
Yeah.
At the same time, so
And what a freaking writer, man.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, just
I was I had that song Joe that him and Luke wrote.
Yeah.
So it was just in my head today. I don't know why, but yeah.
I want to see more songs like that go to the top.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Especially right now, man, when so many people are dealing with it, man. After, it's been 4 years since all the crazy shit, but people are still like dealing heavily with the residual effects of such a weird ass time. I
yeah.
think those songs are really poignant right now. It's like, but it's like I get it too. It's like commercially, do you want to promote the songs that really make us think about the hard shit that's going on, or you just want to promote the stuff the most that's going to help you just be like, I don't have to think about that today, you know?
Well, and that's the other part too, is like I worked at a record label for a year and a half, and you kind of see, and they're like, well, these songs, they're streaming better.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the one you're going to put money into to put it in front of more eyes, you know? So it's like, man, but I feel like the genre as a whole is embracing that side of things that are a little bit more like poignant lyrics again.
Yeah.
Now there's also the opposite side of that where there's nothing in some of it as well. But with the genre growing, I think that's one of the things I'm seeing is like where good quality lyrics that are meaningful to people are hitting home.
Well, I think the forced commercial acceptance of people like Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, you know, it's like the industry has had you can't ignore it anymore. You know, when it gets to a certain point.
Big.
And that's a good side of socials and stuff too, right? So it doesn't really, but because of, I mean, I hear a lot of people talk smack about Zach, but it's like at the same time, it's like he's really opened the door for you can be on either side of the spectrum at this point and somewhere in between too, and have a chance to have a good career. It's just like you just gotta keep putting one foot in front of the other and wading through it, you know, and try to find whatever your avenue is.
Yeah.
But it's because of, you know, the last few years and socials and people like Zach and Tyler finally getting, you know,
His due.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, because he's been great since he started singing, you know.
I mean, dude, it's one of the best of all time, I would say. I think he's absolutely incredible.
We agree.
Yeah.
We used to play him back when we had a radio show. We were on Pittsburgh radio intercom station, so Odyssey, which is the biggest Pittsburgh station, and we had an editorial show Sunday nights, and so like that's before Tyler and all that stuff was on the radio, and we would get to play it.
You got some freedom to play it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
It was great. Yeah.
Was that y'all working together on that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all been homies for a while. Been doing a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
20. When are we?
I got to town in 2020, but we were like buds. We like whenever I was in Nashville or whenever he was like on the road, we would hang out probably since 2018.
18, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
feel like people like us really need a Nick in our life just to like
Totally,
help,
dude.
bro. Like I can already tell. Like you remind me a lot of my boy Josh. It's like you're just kind of a, hey buddy, it's gonna be cool.
sometimes.
We're gonna stop through this. But also, I've seen you wound tighter in Dick's hat band. You know,
happens.
since I've been here for a few minutes too. So it's like,
Yep.
it just but
I'll
you're
lend
a
them to you
good
if you need
calming
'em.
presence. You know?
Yeah,
I got his phone number now.
Yeah.
There you go.
I always try to like think about things, and I feel like I stress myself out more than I stress other people out. I might be wrong about that, but my brain, my version of ADHD is like I find something and I just circle around it a bunch, like thinking about the same thing, and then I just shoot off like a star into the sky and
Yeah,
find
the
something
gravity
else.
finally lets loose.
Yeah.
You're just like, ah.
All right, I'm back in the abyss.
We might have a similar AD.
Yeah, that's the way mine works. But man, that's the other thing too, and I always try to come back to this is when I was younger, I had a hard time looking big picture on things, right? Like I was too worried about the stress of the little things.
Yeah.
And now I, at least daily, try to give myself some time that I can kind of take a step back and be like, oh, this shit's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, my life right now, if I told myself, I'm 42, if I told myself at 35 that this is my life right now, I would laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
I appreciate
in a good
you
way
saying
or
that.
bad
Yeah.
In
way?
the best way possible.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you saying that, man. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, it's like I said earlier. I'm just kind of going through it right now, but yeah, a lot of it's too. You got kids? Yeah,
I don't.
No,
No.
like, I think a lot of it for me started that first year of my daughter's life. I was home like 40 days, you know, and I missed so much. And it's been kind of hard to forgive myself for that. But also, like, it's weird to try to forgive yourself for doing something that you've wanted to do your whole life, you know?
And providing for your family while you're doing it.
Of course, yeah. But, you know, it is pretty amazing to go out, to be able to go out and play these shows and, like, and see, you know. I mean, man, we fought and argued a little bit at the label over putting Damascus out. And it hasn't been, like, a huge commercial success by any means, you know, but, like, out of our top 10 stream songs of all time, I've got 5 to 7 off the new record that are in that, so that's cool. But what I've loved even more is just we'll be playing a show and there's been times we've got multiple standing ovations for Pill, you know, or for Does Heaven Have a Creek or My Boy or 215634, and it's like just so that, I mean, honestly, that was the success I was looking for. It's just like comparing that success to the expected success of the industry sometimes can be, because you're hearing things like we need to see 2 million streams a week before we can do this or that, and it's just like, God dang, let's go buy some lottery tickets while we're at it, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it just is what it is. But the thing is, everybody too, it's hard to remember that everybody wants the same thing for you. You know, everybody in your team obviously wants you to be successful.
Yeah.
But everybody's got a different idea of how to get there too. So I think that's important for, you know, artists to remember. People, or not even artists, just anybody. With your whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Just like be candid in your conversations and just try to follow your heart as much as possible.
Yep. And one of the things that just as a business person kind of for this thing that we're doing is like, I try to figure out what my direction is and then try to travel down that at least for a good period of time now. Because I was kind of feeling like I was like popping around from thing to thing, like trying to figure it out. And I was like, okay, we got to get this shit, like this certain thing squared away before we kind of travel down on another thing. And I imagine that's hard for artists too, because I know being around so many, how like your guys' brains are working all the time. Yeah. And I feel like that, not in the same way, but I feel like a small piece of that. I can't even imagine like my friends that are songwriters and I watch their brains work a little bit. And I'm like, man, that has to be something that's a struggle, is like, hey, all right, this is the thing. Let's travel on that for a while, and then we can travel on something else.
Well, it kind of makes you like, sometimes you're envious of the artists that also have acts to them, right? So it's like you have this, they have this certain type of music, this look, and it's not what they wear, you know, as street clothes, you know, or whatever, or how they would look or talk or do whatever if they're not on stage or in front of the camera. And it's like that's a thing, right? So it's like there's been all kinds of artists that we love for years and years that do that thing. Rolling Stones, I mean,
think about Johnny Cash with dressing all in black. Like,
exactly.
That wasn't even his idea.
But that's not Johnny Cash outside of, you know, being on show or on camera, right? So it's like you become envious a little bit of that. It's like, damn, if I could just, that's a very clear-cut thing. But it's like, I wear this all day, and then if I got a show, I just hop on stage in this, you know? It's like, so I'm just like, everything that is me is like everywhere all the time is still the same guy on stage and everything too. So branding's always a fucking, you know, that's a hassle and a difficult thing, right?
Yeah, I think you have like a clear-cut vision of like branding. It affects the writing also.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I think it makes it easier to write when you know what you're supposed to sound like for your own self.
Yes, I would agree. Because I mean, I would say I've like been struggling to work on this next project because I've got once again the same way Damascus started, but I already used that shtick, so I can't use it again. But it's like I've got like 2 or 3 songs in there, like, you know, I've been on a breakneck road chasing that high life, and then I'm looking for bad love. You know, it's like I kind of like killing myself, kind of like putting myself through hell. You know, so it's like all this shit's everywhere. And but that's another thing is this time I've got so many friends that got such awesome songs that they're just sitting in a file in Dropbox. And I'm sick of it. And I used to be the like, I have to be a writer on everything, but I think for this third project, and I've been going back and looking into Willie Nelson's It's a Long Story. That book really helped me out in a hard time back in the day when I was first starting. And it's like, just seeing the tradition of like cutting your buddy's songs and stuff. I love that I'm starting to see that more now. And you know, it's also inspired me. I mean, I feel like I've established myself, like, for me, you know, like, I feel like I've done what I wanted to do as a writer. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, I don't give a shit. I did what I wanted to do as a writer. Now I want people to hear my buddy's dope songs that nobody else is ever going to hear unless somebody records them, you know? So.
And with your voice, man. Got a killer voice.
Well, thank you, buddy. That's just, I don't know, it's all good Lord my mama. I just blow air through what I got. But,
no doubt.
I do love to sing, though, have since I was a kid. So.
Well, I was looking forward to, actually, last night, we were talking about the Alex show, but you were supposed to play a show at Third Lindsley, right?
Yeah, they had some power trouble or something.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna play that show also. I was gonna
Oh.
bring my steel guitar and just kind of sit in with everyone.
Oh,
So
sick.
that would have been something cool for us to talk about on the pod. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. Can't, like we're
we
gonna.
played together last
Yeah.
night. Yeah. Well,
I guess the power went out
we
at
still
both
ended up
clubs.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I didn't even think about that. What the fuck's going on with the power?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of freaking trucks with lights on around too. Police and I don't know something. Is it a full moon or something?
It was.
That might be it.
Oh,
It was a full moon last night.
That might be it.
getting Halloween spooky vibes.
Yeah.
You even gotta have a costume for that, man.
Yeah, I'm a full wolf man.
Oh, that's
dude.
great.
I have been enjoying, like, for the first time in a long time, just been going out to see some of these newer guys, and there's a lot of cool shit out there.
There is.
There's a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
And also, it's like trying to get out of my own whatever I'm trying to figure out, and just like seeing if there's any of these new guys that I dig what they're doing and they dig what I do, and maybe I can just like get in and just be a writer too, and have some fun that way.
Well, and I talk to people sometimes that are, not at your level, but younger artists, and they're struggling with writing. And I'm like, go write with your friends for them. Don't always try to write for you. If it comes out for you, great. But if it's something that you're just writing to explore writing something that maybe no one will cut, or maybe one of the other people in the room will cut, like there's value in that too. It scratches that itch.
Because that's like putting on that costume.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, let's write for Nick today.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's think about Nick. It already gives you something on that blank page.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It's cool. I just did my first sync camp here a while back.
Yeah.
For this show called Fire Country. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I'm supposed to say that or not, but said it.
Oh, well.
But it was really fun to because I just watched a little bit of the show. I didn't want to know too much about the show before I went in, but I wanted to know enough to know the main characters and stuff. And then so I kind of had to put myself in the head of this dude. It was fun. Yeah.
Did you get some good songs out of it?
I got one. I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard the other one I wrote. I'm still waiting on the demo to come back. One guy that was there, one of the track guys that was there, was really fast, and the other one's really slow. But
Waiting on the demo.
waiting on the demo.
I thought for sure I was going to be a track guy one year. That was my New Year's resolution, like 2018 or something. I'm like, I'm going to learn all this computer shit, and because I could play everything, and I can get. I don't really like computers that much. So, that's what Charlie's for. I'll call Charlie.
Can we make Charlie a track guy?
Yes.
My biggest problem with that when I decided I wanted to try to learn how to make tracks was just 4/4. I don't have a metronome. I don't know drums. There's no.
Yeah. I can do drums. I was on the drum line and I could play drum set a little bit. But.
I can do like a thing, just like or two, but that's it. But I can't take this and look at it on a computer and be like, this goes here and that goes there. It just sounds like, a freaking cat stuck in a metal barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
me
can't do
out.
any of that stuff. So,
Well, that's why you can write and you can hire someone or have someone in the room with you to do all that.
drums.
It's like hire what you're not good at. That's why I'll call you when I need something fixed.
When back in the day, I used to like to say I like to keep people around me that are mighty where I am weak.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially starting out. It's just like you got to learn how to drop the ego, and figure out what you are good at and what you're not, and just be like, I need these people to do that, and I'll do this.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you have remission, but
Yeah.
Well, and that's the best part about you're talking about your team, right? When you find other people that are in your corner that are good at things that isn't maybe even you're okay at, but that you don't have to handle, so you can handle other stuff.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
People that want to too. The girls at management, they took over socials. Kind of came out of a deal with the social media team here a while back. But there's two girls at management that have really been kicking ass here lately, and just on top of all the other stuff they got to do. So thankful for those girls, Gracie, Lou, and Miss Ashley.
And that's so important, honestly, too, because sometimes when you're in it, you're so deep in your thing that it's hard to take that step back and be like, all right, this might crush, or even to just get more ideas, people to help with ideas of what to do.
I have CRS too. Y'all know what that is, right? Can't remember shit.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll
Like
I'll
that radio
literally,
thing?
Yeah.
I'll look at the text and it'll say, do this video. And I'll be like, cool, I got to pee. and then I'll go pee, and then at 10:30 that night I'll be watching Gangs of London, and I'll be like, oh shit, video. I'll do it tomorrow when I wake up, and then tomorrow when I wake up, I don't do it.
Man, I gotta watch Gangs of London now.
Dude, Gangs of
it's
London, it
I'm only
smokes. It's pretty cool.
two episodes in.
What is it on?
One of the streaming services.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm like 9 episodes in. I started the night before last, so it's like.
You're running.
Dude, I couldn't put it down the first night. I ended up. It was the night before I was about to get tattooed for like 4 to 6 hours on my back, and I ended up staying up till 1:30 in the morning just watching TV. And then yesterday, I usually sit pretty good for a tattoo, but yesterday was brutal. Brutal. It hurt.
Where do you go?
Black 13. My
Okay.
boy Daniel Hughes hooks me up
Where's
over
that
there.
at?
It's it used to be over in Cummins Station. Now it's up in like you turn if you're going north, you go on Trinity, and then you turn right. I can't remember what that road is. It kind of runs.
Is
back
it by
towards
like
the-
Shulman's and
There's
is
a
that
coffee shop there beside it.
Cafe Rose?
Goodwood. You know where
No.
Goodwood is?
No.
No. I
Whatever.
don't.
It's in Nashville somewhere.
Yeah, it's over in East Nashville. But my drummer, his wife works there and stuff, and I started working with this artist that my drummer works a lot with over there. There's all those artists over there. It's incredible.
Really good.
Yeah. So he did my stomach. I did just a big. It's just a big joke. It would just be like, you want to see my cock, and then I pull up.
There you go.
So. And then we're working on this tribute to the trucking industry and working class people on my back. It's sick. I want to show it off, but it's hard with the cameras and all that stuff.
Especially if you just got it too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna pull my shirt up right now and show it off. But yeah, it's like just. But dude, something about getting a big tattoo. I've obviously got a few tattoos, but something about getting. I've never really got a massive tattoo till I did my stomach, and that was like 6 hours just of. And
I've never done that.
Stomach is the worst place in the world to get tattooed. I found out, but for the next 3 days, I was straight. I felt good. Like I was like clear headed. It was just like, maybe just like putting yourself through something like that voluntarily for so long.
What's that called when they like poke you with sticks? Acupuncture?
Yeah,
Kind of like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I did that one time too, and it does work. It's weird.
Yeah. I've seen people like do cupping where like they're left with those
I don't know about all that.
circular.
Yeah, stuff all over them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the hot cups. Yeah, I've done that stuff before too.
I think for me, the tattooing gives me the same thing that like when I get a haircut does.
Yeah.
It's like that consistent buzz
Yeah.
almost is
Oh, the
therapeutic for
sound?
me. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
And like for my hair, when it's like back here, I'm just like, it just really calms me
Ooh,
down.
I've
wanna
seen
go
his
to
eyes
sleep.
roll back in his head.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
so
they
it just
do,
said-
man. Yeah.
He really likes it.
I do. It's when a tattoo has that same kind of thing, but then you mix that in where the haircut never hurts, hopefully.
Yeah.
But where like tattoos, so like when most of my tattoos are on my arms, so they weren't very painful. But like when Mike hit like the edge of this guitar on my wrist,
Yeah.
I was like, so there's something about that too, where a little bit of pain mixed with that continuity of the buzz. Just I love it.
Oh, dude, I sat like a bitch yesterday. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, we got quite a bit done. We got like my whole lower back and both my shoulders, but I was a little squirmy for it. I was like,
What do you I mean? Do you just like watch TV when you get that done, or you just like?
You can't really watch TV.
dude,
if you're-
actually, Daniel's pretty cool. Like he'll just sit there and talk to you, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've had other tattoo artists that's just like they just like pop their headphones in or just like don't talk to me while I'm working. But
Yeah.
he's a cool cat, man. He's super down to earth and just funny, and he'll sit there and tell stories every now and then. I'll just be like, "Yo, I'm going through it right now," and I was just like. And grab anything I can and just flex my whole body.
Yep.
The love handles are the worst.
Oh,
But no, if you want a good tattoo, go to Black 13 Tattoos in Nashville, Tennessee.
There you go.
there it is.
I haven't got one yet. One day.
Not one at all? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, virgin skin.
That's right. I just don't know what I'd like. What I would get, like
Well-
a guitar or something. I don't
Do
know.
do you want, like, is it something you really want?
No, not
Then
really.
Just don't get one.
Yeah.
All right.
At this point,
You
it's
don't have
like
to have a tattoo. Yeah.
it's almost cooler that you don't have any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a coffee bean.
I mean, you're
On my
kind of
throat.
like the anomaly at this point in time. Like it used to, it was like to have tattoos was more rare. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone has tattoos now.
Absolutely agree. My dad had one. He has like a really terrible Indian ink tattoo that his buddy did when they were drunk at the kitchen table.
I
Hell
love
yeah.
it. Love that.
And it's right here on his arm. So that's what I got. And it's supposed to be a tulip. It doesn't look like a tulip. But this is like a tribute piece to his tattoo and him, you know? So a glass anchor I did with, worked at a factory that my dad worked at like my whole adult life. And then crappy tulip that he has. And then like a NASCAR flag because one of my moments that I like always remember is going to a race with him.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
What's this on the inside? Is this a Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Sure
Yes,
is.
dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Hell
Glad
yeah.
you knew that.
Come on,
Yeah.
I was a nerd too. Let's go.
We were playing, I guess, like a week ago.
Yeah.
We still play here and there, just a little.
I tried the other day, but it's been so many years. I didn't get into it too much, but when I was probably like 11, 12 years old, this really cool store, and where we grew up, there was just nothing to do, you know? But then we got a little skate park, and then we got this little store that you could go in and buy Pokemon or whatever the other ones are in Magic the Gathering, and they had tables set up where you could sit there and do matches
Play.
if you wanted. So go hang out there sometimes and kind of got into my buddy. I still got a couple decks somewhere in storage, but one of the guys that was on the road with me brought his deck out and was like showing one of the guitar players. Of course, we were all giving him hell about him, but I did have fun going and playing back in the day. But I always liked the cards more than anything.
Yeah.
I believe there's a guy
Art.
from my hometown named Larry Elmore. He's kind of famous for drawing dragons.
Oh, cool.
Painting dragons. And
Yeah.
I think he got like a couple dragons on some cards and stuff.
Yeah, I got this one. It's like, I put it here because it's like the ace up your sleeve kind of vibe.
No, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then I got this because my brothers, we all played together. So I'm the youngest of 4 boys. And there wasn't a ton of things because my older brothers are like 13 and 11 years older. So there wasn't a ton of things that we all did together. But me and my brother Chaz started playing Magic, and then we got our older brothers into it with us.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things that I always remember that we all did together. you
Y'all
know?
ever do it anymore? No?
Not with my brothers too much.
Yeah.
They're back in Pennsylvania still, but it's funny because like I hadn't played in a while, and then Kurt is into like D&D and stuff, and I'm like, D&D is too many hours for my ADHD brain.
I found D&D in the house that we're renting, like a brand new box with like a D&D starter kit.
Really? You should give it to Kurt. Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
You should play it.
Play
I
it.
know, well, I wanted to when I was a kid. One time, my mom was like, "That's devil
the
stuff."
devil.
Mhm. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Ouija board, like she was saying, she swears that there was a girl she knew when she was a kid that walked into the woods with a Ouija board and never came back. And I'm just like, "Okay, mom, Yeah, love you, mom."
I do have a Ouija board at the house if you want to borrow it.
You know, I don't really believe in ghosts. I'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
But when we started playing a little bit, I was like, I played Magic, and he's like, I know I play Magic a little, so we play. And for a minute, I would be like, all right, here's kind of how it works, you know, because I played back in the day. I was like in 7th grade, you know, through kind of 12th grade. That's when I played, and I'm 42, so it was a long time ago. But my brother Chaz was really good. He's 2 years older than me, and he went to college. And the guys that he used to play with in college, some of them work for the company that runs Magic now, right? So
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, it's nuts. So he was like nationally ranked in like I don't know,
What?
like 2000. You know, like
Dude, what was that one card that was worth like $5 million or some shit?
Black
yeah.
Lotus.
Black
Yeah.
Lotus,
yeah. I remember when we started playing, it was right after those cards were there. So like you could still get them, but they were like, I was like $100 for that card. That's crazy. I should have bought all of them. You know.
Can I take a piss break?
Yeah, absolutely.
go ahead,
Yeah. The good thing about us is there's 2 of us, so one of us can just like cover while the other one runs.
You see the episodes of Rogan where it's just like he'll just be like, "Bro, I got to piss. I'll be right back." And then just,
You know, it's funny. I've only watched a full like in their entirety, and like I watched Charles's episode, and like they didn't piss at all. I'm like, these guys aren't gonna piss.
yeah, for 3.5 hours.
It's wild.
That they go on forever.
I know.
Which I mean, I feel like most of them stop when they need to. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I'll stay in them pretty good. I don't watch them a whole lot, but I like if I'm on a long drive or something.
Yeah.
I'll throw one on.
If it's someone that I care about, I'll watch the whole
Yeah.
thing. Or if it's like the alien ones or the silly shit get
Yeah,
me.
it's fun. That dude
Yeah.
from Alaska with that big ranch up there with all the prehistoric bones on it or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like weird stuff like that. I'll get it. I'll be like, "What the hell is this?" Dude's just spraying a mountainside with a high pressure water hose, and all these mammoth tusks are falling out of the.
Crazy.
He's got like 2 acres, and they found more like cave bears, mammoths, all this stuff in this 2 acres than they found in the rest of the entire world.
It's nuts.
Well, on my quarter acre, my dog pulled up a cat femur or something
That's
skeleton,
cool.
like digging in the yard. Someone's like that lived there before me. Their cat died.
This is like
Oh,
that.
he
but
dug up
prehistoric.
somebody's
Yeah, cat.
poor little kitty.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude! There's always like evidence of some savagery performed by a hawk or an owl in our front yard.
Oh, yeah.
Every day I walk outside and there'll just be like fluff and a few feathers laying. And it's like this hawk or this owl loves this one spot of my yard to destroy squirrels. I also hate squirrels, so I'm like, more power to you, dude.
You're like, get them all.
Tree rats.
Yeah.
Brother, we got this camper up in Kentucky. We keep at this campground, and I swear to God, the squirrels, they're genius. They know what they're doing. They hate people, and we all equally hate them. But like these bastards, I come up from the dock one day, and there's just a squirrel sitting there chewing on something of mine, and I was like, "Hey man, get the hell out of here!" Well, he's like, looks at me, drops it, and runs off. Right. Well, that night I've had these lights hanging up, and it's like they got little bulbs on them, right?
Yeah.
They've been hanging up for a month. The next morning I walk outside, and they fell. They've been chewed in the middle. I was just like, that little bastard.
He knew.
He got pissed off because I yelled at him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, I show this guy.
Yeah. It's
you,
like a
you get what is like the red? What's that gun from Christmas Story?
Daisy Red Rider.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Already, dude. I just pelted one in the forehead, and he ran up the tree, looked at me, and just screamed at me. I was just like, what the hell?
They're built different in Kentucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the Daisy Red Rider is like, you're not going to kill a squirrel.
No,
with that.
it's not breaking skin. Yeah.
I mean, I seen this thing. Like, I seen the shockwave when I hit this thing, like, right above his head. He runs up the tree 3 or 4 feet, looks at me off the side of it, and just like, it's like, asshole. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
I digress.
I remember I had a slingshot when I was a kid, like,
Same.
and I would shoot it. I would like pull up my screen, my window, and try to get the squirrels with stuff.
You never hit one?
I think I hit them once or twice.
I
But
never could hit anything with a
yeah,
slingshot.
no, I mean, if you shoot 100 times, you might get it once. You
Yeah.
know.
I could get within 20 feet. That's
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. The bigger the thing you're shooting at it, the more likely you have of doing it.
yeah.
If
Well,
you're
that's
shooting those
all
little
of 'em,
pellets,
yeah.
like you're not gonna get it.
Either one of y'all deer hunt?
I know. I never have actually.
Never, really?
No.
Have you ever before?
My
No?
dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad, deer hunting when he's like, Nick, I just can't get you out there and get you to be quiet that long. So maybe when you're older, you know, and then it just never happened.
My daddy never did hunt much. I mean, he was he would hunt a good back road and a case of beer on the weekends, you know. But he never just was much of a hunter. But since I've gotten older, I've went out with some folks, and
Yeah.
I had this deer I was chasing for like 3 years, and then last year was the year I was going to take him, and he just quit. He didn't show up the whole time. The 8 hunts I put in on him, and he was there the next day. And then this year, somebody sent me a picture of him. He looks like he's got some kind of disease or something.
Oh, that sucks.
It sucks so bad, man. I've been after this deer.
What is a deer's life expectancy? Because is it like 6? They're as big as they're gonna get, right? Something like that.
No, I mean, some of these deer, like down in Texas where I was hunting this deer, that they'll live to be like 10, 12 years old.
That's crazy.
But they're also like, it's a 5,000 acres of high fence. You know,
Yeah.
people are riding out taking care of the coyotes a lot, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say in like Kentucky or like right around here, probably 6 or 7,
Yeah.
8, 9 if they're lucky.
Yeah.
But it's just so saturated with hunters too. It's like you're not gonna make it very far unless you're real smart.
Or
Right.
unless they're in like Shelby Park, which like it's like where I run a lot, and they're just like chilling.
Yeah,
People are
that's
feeding
true.
them.
So
There's
that's
no-
where I need to take my bow is
Yeah.
Shelby Park.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
I
a good one.
haven't killed one with a bow yet, man. I'd like to. I'm not an avid hunter or anything though. If I get a week, I'll go do it.
I was supposed to go for the first time. Our buddies have a bunch of acreage down in Alabama, and I was gonna go Thanksgiving last year. I didn't go back to Pittsburgh, so I was gonna go do that. But my car was just in bad shape, so I didn't. They're like, "Will you come down this year and shoot a buck?" They do like professional hunts on their land, you
Yeah.
know. So they're like, "We can get you in front of something."
Well, that's how this started with this one down in Texas. I get invited to this deer camp because I went and some friends of mine that have like a baseball agency for major league players invited me to come and play music and entertain deer camp.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm about to leave. Dude's like, "Hey man, do you got to be home?" Blah blah. I said, "I got a few days. I get to hang out." He said, "Well, come on down here." So we go down around Laredo, like right on the Mexico line, and we meet these cats at the Junco Ranch. And I'm hanging out, and they're like, "We're gonna send you out with so and so, to go look for a coal buck." And I didn't know what a coal buck is. A coal buck's evidently is like you want to weed them out. It's the older ones. It's the ones that are all messed up looking, whatever.
Yep.
So you keep your herd good, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm sitting there, and dude, freaking this moose walks out 20 yards from not a real moose, but like whitetail, the biggest whitetail I've ever seen in my life. And I grabbed my gun and I come over, and the guy's like, no, you can't shoot him. You can't shoot him. I said, dude, if I go back to Kentucky and tell people that walked out in front of me and I didn't shoot it, they're going to slap shit out of me. And he's like, that's not a coal buck. I was like, all right, whatever. So we go back to camp, and I tell these guys, what I seen. Well, they pull out this file, and they got cameras at all their feeders and stuff all over the ranch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I explained the deer. He's like, that's Big Chief. He's only about 4 years old. Well, at 4 years old, it's massive. He's like, can't shoot him till he's about 7, right? So every year I went down there, I'd get a coal buck. I'd look for Big Chief too. Well, they told me that year, it's like, hey, well, they just, at the time, he told me, he was like, well, we just thought you some dude came down here with Matt to play music at the campfire, And he said, if you ever get #1 at country music radio, I'll let you have Big Chief. Well, we were going to radio, like, literally at that time. I didn't say nothing. So we got #1. I just sent him a picture of the charts, and I was like, I guess Big Chief's mine. Turns out I didn't get him anyway.
Yeah.
So
Never saw him again. Yeah.
He was gone. Man, they got like surveillance cameras out there in the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, they just, they get the trail cams or whatever, and they get feeders set up in different areas. And a lot of these deer will like stay in one area, or sometimes during the rut, they're like, they might wander over here. Might go to a different bar.
That's how these guys are too. They're like, we know what we're going to shoot at. Now, if they have someone that's paid on site, then they kind of shoot what they want to shoot, but they won't like harvest a deer that someone else either could harvest, or like, unless it's clearing up the stock.
It makes it a little easier in some ways, but down there it's not like shooting fish out of a barrel or anything. But there are places that it can definitely be like that. And then around here, you're like competing with your buddy that's just like half a mile down the road that's trying to hunt his little corner of the field too. Deer stands back up to each other. This is where they all come.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad always hunted on public land, so he never had.
That's even worse, man.
Yeah.
Yes, that's super
Everybody's
hard.
out.
My nephew goes out to Colorado every year and tries public land. He'll draw for a tag. I think he got one last year. It was a small bull, but I don't know. One of these days I might get back out there and try to kill something. I don't know.
There you go.
Hey, that's it. Well, all right. I guess we should probably talk about what you've been doing on the road too.
Yeah, man. Just sorry, we've been
Playing gigs or what?
We've been everywhere. We talk about everything but that. We've been bouncing around quite a bit. I've had to make some changes in the team and stuff over the last couple of years, and just trying to figure out the path. But a lot of what we've been getting is, somebody cancels, or or somebody just wasn't able to make this opening slot, or something happened, this one got rained out, and then, whatever, we end up replacing because these artists got to go and do these other shows.
Yeah.
So we've got some really cool opportunities that way, like playing, we did a show up in Camden, New Jersey with Aldine here a while back. It was so sick. The crowd really responded well and gained a lot of followers that night and sold a lot of T-shirts. And then we did 2 with Parker McCollum. Those shows actually worked out really well too. It was awesome.
Parker's a great guy too.
Dude, Parker's sick. I didn't get to see.
nice.
I think he was a little sick that weekend. He was just hanging out, trying to stay away from everybody and stay healthy. But I've ran into Parker quite a few times, and his pops. I ran into his pops one time. Loved his dad. He's a cool dude. But yeah, that crew is really awesome too. Aldine's crew's great.
Yep.
We did some work with Brantley this year, dude. That crew. Like, god dang, I don't know how you can beat that group of guys. They're super good dudes.
Yeah, I've opened for Brantley. Like, there was like a year and a half of my life where it was like I was playing with Michael Ray and we were on Brantley tour, and then I took the Luke Combs job, and then we toured Brantley for like a year. Yeah,
Back
they're
to
like, you're
back.
back. I'm like, hey
Yeah.
guys.
Super good dudes,
Yeah.
man. Had a lot of fun with those guys. We had a show with Thomas Rhett. That was the first time I ever done anything with Thomas. He's a super sweet dude. Had a good time. Washington State Fair. I hate Seattle, but I love Washington.
Oh, it's beautiful up there.
Oh my god! Me and my wife went up 3-4 days early. It was her birthday, and I rented one of those camper, whatever it's called. We got a van and just like drove out to the
cool.
West Coast.
Yeah,
It was
that's cool.
that
We
place
just
is
did the
beautiful.
Gorge with Luke recently.
What's the Gorge?
It's like a big venue like in Washington State. It's kind of like
Oh, okay.
it kind of has like it's like the Grand Canyon kind of, but there's an amphitheater out there, but it's out there.
Kind of like Red Rocks ish, but west like
yeah,
north,
sort of, yeah.
northwest coast Red Rocks.
Yeah, it's people put that like on their bucket list for venues to play because it is so just aesthetically beautiful out there.
I wasn't aware of the Gorge, but have you ever played Red Rocks?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a bucket list.
Yeah, we played it with Luke a couple years back, and it's pretty sick.
I have this like goal I keep in the back of my head of Red Rocks 10-26, 20, or 10-26, yeah. So about October of 2026, I would like to have played Red Rocks. That'd be great.
Alright.
I'm kind of realistic with my goals. That's like 2 years.
Yeah, that's great.
And
I love
I'm trying.
Well, I mean, for me as a fan, Red Rocks was one of them, and I got to see Luke and the boys play there.
Yeah.
It's spiritual there, man.
Yeah.
It really is. You feel it.
The ramen was when you said spiritual, it made me think of this. We opened up for Blackberry Smoke back in July, and it was literally everything that a first time playing the ramen should have been. The way it felt, the way the crowd was, it was just amazing. Got a standing O at the ramen.
Nice.
It was beautiful, man. And Blackberry Smoke was a big reason why I quit. Like I didn't touch a guitar or anything for 3 years after me and my wife met, and somebody sent me 3 records. They sent me the Blackberry Smoke, Whippoorwill, Cadillac 3, the one with I got my boots laced up with my guitar strings. Every step I take, the mockingbird sings.
Was that the?
Back down south?
Yeah, that's
you
the
know?
first record, the black cover.
Yeah, I can't remember the cover. But
Tennessee Mojo on it.
Yeah,
That's
Tennessee.
the first
Yeah,
record.
that's the one.
Yeah.
So they sent me that. They sent me Blackberry Smoke's Whippoorwill, and they sent me Sturgill Simpson's Meta Modern Sounds of the Country. And I just started listening to music again, and then I bought a guitar, and because my old guitar I put up was done for. I started listening to music again, and then I started coming down here and like trying to write songs and stuff. So to play the ramen with a band that was like very instrumental in getting me back into music was really cool. And
That's a badass story, man.
it was cool, yeah. It was that's one of those super magic things that can happen in all of this, you know. Charlie and the guys at Blackberry Smoke have been good to us. We've done a few shows with them, so they've been really good to us.
They're so good live too.
Oh,
Their
they're
live
incredible.
shows are
Yeah.
amazing.
Their acoustic stuff, my God! Do you ever see the stuff they did at Southern Grounds? They had some YouTube videos where they did full.
Probably
acoustic.
have because
Oh my!
we went
God.
down the road with them a few nights where we watched like everything we could on Blackberry Smoke with Joe.
Yeah, of course.
He's probably one of the most understated. I won't say underrated, but understated guitar players in the game too. He's got a really great style.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, like, when you're playing live, I just was going through your discography, getting ready for this, and it's so rocking. Like, what's this? What are you guys like live? Because I've never seen y'all.
I mean, it feels kind of like it's kind of angsty and punk and just dirty and loose. I feel like in a cool way, hopefully.
Yeah.
All of us guys. I mean, we have a lot of fun, man. And there's definitely like, especially with the Damascus stuff. I think that's where kind of the little bit of the punk and angsty comes in. But I think it just matches the temperature of the world right now and the thought behind the music and stuff. We don't play a whole lot of stuff off Backslider anymore. Most of the time we'll play Love Cold Beer, Cheap Smokes, or County Roads every now and then, just because those are two of the
I love
ones
the guitar tone of that song.
Which one?
Is on County Roads.
Oh.
It's like a Dire Straits, like that fuzz sound.
Yeah.
It's sick. And so I went and looked up who was playing on it. It's like Book and Rob are both on that track.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I listened to like all your shit sounds so good with headphones on. It's definitely like you gotta like it's not something you want to listen to like on your phone.
Well, there's
a lot of cool sounds.
Thank you, man. That's first record was Oscar and Jordan Rigby mixed that, and this last record Oscar mixed. And the first record I was like really involved, like I was standing over their shoulders the whole time and just like being this perfectionist, and they would just like change all the shit that they didn't like that they would do that I suggested after I left, I'm pretty sure. But this last time, dude, I think Oscar just killed it on this project.
Yeah.
Producing, mixing, playing. But I just want like. I was inspired to learn how to play guitar and stuff by listening to John Fogerty's Blue Moon Swamp record and Steve Earle's, all that Richard Bennett stuff off of Steve Earle's first records, and it's like I wanted the music to highlight the first record in particular. I wanted to highlight guitars because I wanted kids to be inspired, to want to learn to play guitar that love my music, and that's why we put Book and oh my God. My brain is so
Rob.
fried. Yes,
Rob.
Rob. Sorry, Rob. I mean, not like we haven't seen.
He's not
going
to
to
listen to this podcast.
But it was we were talking about. It was like we were going to just do one, and I was like, no, let's get both these guys. I want to see them fight in the studio. It was like, and it was so cool. They had so much fun and playing off of each other and everything. This last record, we had some budget issues, so I had 3 songs that I did with what I call the Fletch, was that band from the first record, the studio band. But this record was just me and Oscar and co-writers and friends just being like, yo, hey, we're recording this. Do you like this? Do you got a part for it? And we just camped out in Oscar's studio for 5 days and just made a record with friends.
Yeah, because I noticed that a lot of the personnel was different, so I was wondering how that came about. So that makes sense.
I mean, most of it was because we had to be a little more mindful of the budget this time, but a lot of it was also because we were just making the songs as we wrote them with Oscar. Like, we're always recording stuff as we're writing. When I'm working with Oscar, especially, it's just like, we like this. Why do we have to go and do the same thing? In the studio, it's like, it's cool. And the imperfections are there, you know, and everything. So that means a lot. I really appreciate it. Put a lot of attention to detail and like trying to make sure this stuff sounds cool.
Yeah. There's like sometimes where I'll hear something and I like know the producer. When I looked up, like, listen to your music, I'm like, who's producing this? And I looked up, and who else has Oscar worked with?
So he's worked with Chase Rice. He has been doing all the Chase's new stuff. A boy named Banjo. I think he's worked with Cassie Ashton some. He's working with a million people. He's always busy.
Sonically, it sounds cool.
What's can't remember. He's been working with this pop artist. CRS. He's been working with this pop artist. She's got a band, and they've had like a couple hits, but she's doing a solo thing. So he's working with her. I don't know if I'm even supposed to tell all that stuff, but he's just a little mad scientist, and we literally we fight like brothers and create beautiful. We'll let each other do what each other's thinking. We'll always do what each other suggests just to hear it, but we always make sure we get a little jab in between. I've literally choked this dude out in the studio. Like
Literally?
I came up behind him though. I snuck it in there, but it was over something on the drums on Sundress on the first record, but he wouldn't tap, so I just kept squeezing. And Jordan's like, "Bro, he's purple," and I was like, "Hey, wake up!"
Oh boy, Nick just gave me that Rick Rubin book.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. It is very contradictory at times. It's very kind of tangential at times, but I love tangential, as you can tell. But I bought that book for every one of the main characters that were playing and recording Damascus. I went and got a copy for everyone that was going to be there every day, and I was like, please read this before we go in the studio.
Well, there's a chapter when he talks about collaborating on how to suggest changes and things like that, and it doesn't talk about choking your producer out at
No,
all.
well, it's a new tactic. I need to tell Rick Rubin about.
Yeah.
We did implement a few things like with Does Heaven Have a Creek? I remember being in the studio and my buddy Dan Couch, who's a writer on a lot of stuff and one of my favorite collaborators, he come in with his daughter and brought some food and stuff, and I'm in the middle of singing and I noticed they sit down on the couch out in the main room. I see him through the glass and I was like, audience. And I was, that was in that book, right? It's like
100%.
sometimes just have an audience and it can change everything, right? And then I was like, oh, cool. Now I get to perform this for somebody. I get somebody to see how this song affects me emotionally instead of me just like being in here in the dark by myself trying to do it. And I think it would not have been what it is without them coming and sitting down that day.
That's sick.
The vocals on the new record are they're very polished and great, but they're raw, and there's like certain things that you sing in like one breath. I'm like, there's no way this is a comp. Like, it can't be. Like in Outside Dog, there's this thing where you go from the quietest whisper to like the loudest scream. I'm like, this dude sounds insane. Like, he's crazy. Like,
that was my Kanye moment.
Yeah.
For
dude.
sure.
I'm like, this guy's having an out of body moment where he's just screaming, but you're singing beautifully. I don't know, like, it's wild, dude. It's really cool.
Well, I he doesn't like to comp much. Like Oscar's, like sometimes, most of the time, it's like we sing 3, maybe 5 times, and it's like we got to get a take out of that. It's not, we're not going in there and trying. Every now and then they'll be like, oh shit, I fucked up this one thing, but it's such a great performance. Let's grab this one word or whatever. But he's pretty adamant about like not overdoing the singer and just going in there and hammering out 15.
Right.
And I sing hard too, so it's like we're not going to get much out of me if I go in the studio and I'm singing songs
takes.
like Outside Dog.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't listened to that song, go listen to it. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's just, I've never heard anything like that.
Well, that's exactly why. It's like it stands out.
Yeah.
And starting the record like in that way, you're like, oh hell yeah.
There's that one part. There was a lot of frustration and ego in that song, and that's why I wanted to put that song first on the record, because I wanted to get it out of the way. And like at the time, I wanted to get the ego out of the way so I could focus on like pill 215-634, all that stuff. But it's like we all have it, right? It's the guy that wants to bitch about why I'm not getting this and that guy's getting that or whatever. But it's also the guy that says, "Hey man, you can fucking do this. Just keep going." And I remember it wasn't long before that. I've never told this, especially on a podcast. But it wasn't long before that that I tried to like reach out to church, and we had tried to get some shows. I'm sure church never even seen the thing, but I was a huge church fan. Still am a huge church fan. Obviously, everybody that loves good music is. But he's like one of those artists I grew up with, taught me how, he's one of the mentors, taught me how to write songs, taught me how to perform, whatever. Went and seen shows, helped them load their shit up at 4th Street Live in Louisville one night, sneaking back behind the line, But I was just pissed off about it. And I was like, so that bridge, I'd just heard that song, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep looking at me. Yeah. All bowed up like a loudmouth pup, never been in a junkyard fight. If you're going to run with a big dog, son, you're going to feel the bite. So I was like, I tried to reach out, got no reply, all this stuff. So that bridge came to me in the studio, and it was like, I'm tired of how the big dog keep on barking like he lives it. I come from the junkyard, and that puppy's just pretending. Mm-hmm. And they say, Elvie, you can't say that. You can grab it, you can't bite. Hello, I'm a pit bull. I came in here to fight. And I was like, at first I was like, I can't put that in there. It's like, maybe somebody understands that and they think I'm being a dick. And I was just like, wait a minute, that'd be the most church thing to do. It's like, just put it in there. So I was like, so I did it. And then when we got that song done, I sent it to Eric. I emailed it to Eric Church. And it was just like, tired of being overlooked. I know you've been there before. I read that Rolling Stone, the Renegade, when he was on the cover of Rolling Stone. It was an awesome article, by the way. If anybody's struggling, like you really believe in yourself and what you're doing, I think you could go back to that article. If you're a church fan, especially, go back and read that article and see that, there can be light at the end of the tunnel when you're going through it. So,
yeah. Crazy. I mean, that's what that song's all about, really.
Yeah, exactly. The first verse just feeling like, I cleaned up my edges just enough to slip in some party like a pledge and get kicked to the curb again. I pledged Cap Sig, got kicked out for starting a fight with some dude that told me I couldn't ride on the fraternity van one night when I was drunk. He touched me, so I hit him in the mouth. This is all there is to it. Anyways, they wouldn't let me be a member after that. But I associated that to like, I came to town, I did the thing. I made sure that I stayed authentic, to who I am and everything, but I tried to like clean up some of the edges, and make what I do work. And Willie Nelson talks a lot about that in that book I was talking about earlier. And it's like, we got the thing, and it was like County Roads came next, and it's like, we got kicked out. And I'm not mad at anybody. That's the thing, is like, anybody who gets upset, you're just mad at the way things work. Sometimes shit ain't fair, right? But it's like, that song was just trying to get all of that shit out of the way, and just focus on, okay, cool, whatever, get over it. Let's have some fun now. Let's also talk about some shit that matters. Let's tell these people's story. Damascus was also a big focus on like telling other people's stories.
Yeah.
What do I know? 215-634. Some of them my stories that just hopefully relate. Pill, Winning Horse, shit like that. So.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like that song so much though.
Yeah, it was just I don't know, just
stands out.
Yeah, it's just not in the norm. It's like, just the sounds and the singing and the lyrics, it wasn't what I was expecting when I put it on, I guess. And I was like very surprised, very pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is wild.
Started that with Oscar and John Sherwood one day, and we got like part of a chorus going, and then I had a head full of Adderall on a flight back from London. And it was just like trying to figure out. It's funny, it's ironic. I'm just like all frustrated on a flight back from London where I just went and played music.
Yeah.
Just like ungrateful bastard. But it's just where I was. And so I'm just like sitting there and I was scribbling. It's like, to me, it was almost, I had a different track at the time that I was writing it to. And it was like very like hip hoppy. And I was just like, all right, this is just therapy, But then we came up with that and I was like, oh shit, let's do it,
I think like an hour ago when we started this podcast, I was saying how that song has so many different genres in it. And one of it reminded me of like something like off Kids Rock's like Cowboy Record or whatever, like Ball with a Ball kind of a thing too. So it's like there's all kinds of, it's like a whole multiverse in that one song. I feel like.
prime example, too, artist of an artist that's been able to like that proves that you don't have to stick to this one sound. It's like, what was the song they had with Sheryl Crow?
Picture.
Yeah. That didn't age well, but or that collaboration didn't age well. But the song did. The song's still great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's my name is Keith. To that. So.
Oh yeah, and I mean he's went from rap to rock.
Tell me I can't.
Tell
me I can't. Kiss my ass.
He's done all of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And been an icon through the whole time.
Yeah.
That's one of the craziest things about Kid. I remember my buddy. Well, actually, my brother Steve's buddy, because they were older than me,
Yeah.
He played me that before Kid got big, and he's like, this guy's from Detroit, and it's sick. Because that album was out for a while before it, like, popped.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? It was, I don't know, 98, 99, something like that is like when that came out.
I remember going to Peaches with my dad, and he bought that record, and I got, like, Ride the Lightning or something. And I was like, what is that record?
Do you still think that's a thing in the current climate where you can have a record that's out for a while and then it starts popping?
Chris Stapleton, right?
Chris Stapleton.
I think it is.
Traveler.
Well,
Traveler. Well,
I
Traveler
feel
had
like
the critical.
pop, though, didn't it?
It had
Well,
like a Nashville pop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Justin Timberlake thing is what.
Like blew it up. I remember telling all my buddies, because I've loved music and forever, but was super into country at that time.
You?
Yeah, weird, right?
He likes music. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know
But
music.
I was like, all right, there's this guy opening for Warren Haynes. His name's Chris Stapleton. I'm getting us all tickets. We're going, right?
Yeah.
Like, you boys are coming with me. I was like, his record's out. It's sick. I got like the pre-vinyl that's like the EP basically, and then I got the vinyl. And they were like, okay. And then we went, and then like 2 weeks later after that was the Timberlake thing. And they're like, my buddy Sean was like, well, I'm glad I told everybody about this Chris Stapleton guy.
Right.
You know?
Well, we knew Steel Drivers back home, Kentucky
100%.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like knew and Steel Drivers is dope, but I was a big Johnson Brothers.
Dude,
Yeah,
Ride
so
My Rocket,
good.
dude. Yeah, hell
Don't
yeah.
you wanna ride? I used to cover Barely Alive all the time at 4-hour bar gigs, which is this song that he just does this stupid high run on, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna shred my vocal cords 3 nights a week, singing 4 hours a night. Yeah, but that record was sick. It was so sick.
Oh yeah, it fucking rocks.
But yeah, the Teskey Brothers is one for me recently. That album was out for a while before it really started to pop. Stephen Wilson Jr.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like March of this year is when you started seeing the most out
Really
of Stephen
saw.
Wilson. I seen him for the first time, just him, the other night. And my God, dude,
Powerful.
it's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I love it when I see somebody that just makes me be like, fuck yeah. You know, like, it's healthy in
Yeah.
a way. It's like, it drives, like, maybe, I don't know. I don't like to say, like, a competitive nature or whatever, but it's like, I felt that way when Hardy put out that first record. I was just like, this is, like, there's bars being set here, right?
Yeah.
So, and then every time Eric puts one out, it's like, fuck yeah. You know?
That is definitely healthy though, because
Yeah,
it makes you like, okay, I got to keep pushing my thing to get
Yeah.
it where I want to go, and
Yeah, and
make
it's like,
people feel that.
obviously you don't want to. You got to be careful because you don't want to compare. You don't want to like try to make your sound do this thing. But it's like, how do you make what you do evoke that same
Yes.
feeling to people?
Yep.
But whatever that thing is that he hits with when he makes the thunder, he's got some kind of pedal or some shit. I was like trying to sneak a peek. I'm like, what is this? Is it just him like hitting the string real hard? I don't know. Some guitar god out there, maybe he's looking at me right now. Like,
No, I don't know what he
it's
does.
like reverse reverb on.
But he's
a
playing.
freaking-
He's
I
playing
don't
like
know.
a gut string acoustic, right?
Yeah, which is cool too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, whoever's like whoever's doing his stuff for socials and stuff is like, they're just hitting the nail on the head. Like, if known Steven for a while, like, we're not close or anything, but I've known him for a long time, just around town. It's like, that's Steven. You know?
Yeah.
It's just him.
Yep,
So
it's cool.
I told him the other night too. It's really cool. I don't know if y'all feel this way or not, if you listen to the whole record, but I was like, obviously, man, I didn't know your dad. Obviously, you know, he meant a lot to you, and obviously there's a little bit of like friction here and there. But listening to that whole record, you get to meet the man that this record is attributed to.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll fanboy over that shit all night. I just think it's awesome. It's just an awesome project, awesome human being, awesome writer.
Yeah, personal stories are the thing that means the most to people. When they're not your stories, you almost can feel more connected to them.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
me and my dad, we have our ups and downs for sure. He's like my arch nemesis and my hero at the same time. And it's like I'm sitting there at Father's Day and we're listening to that record, and Father's Son comes on, and it's, he's, God damn, I am my father's son. And I just remember looking over at my dad and being like, I feel that shit.
Yeah, I look more and more like my dad every day.
Yeah, we get there. Hey, my dad's got a lot of wrinkles. I better not get there.
It's funny. It's like when I sneeze, I sound exactly like my dad.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like I'm real loud.
Asshole! That's what my dad used to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just always a cuss word and a sneeze,
That's funny.
I'll just be at Texas Roadhouse. Ah, shit!
Okay, I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah.
You do have the loudest sneezes ever,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
It's a sneezy boy.
Man, what was you gonna say? Sorry.
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's probably that stuff I smoked last night.
Yep.
Yeah, some good stuff. I picked up some London pound cake the other day.
Oh.
Yeah, you ever smoked any London pound cake?
No.
So I can't smoke like I used to. I used to love to smoke weed. But then I tried this weird psychedelic one time, like towards the end of my college career. And while my buddy was in the bathroom, and he came back out and he was like, "Did you try some?" I was like, "Yeah, it burns." And he was like, "What'd you do?" And I was like, "That capsule." And he looked at me,
Oh,
and I was
God.
like, "What?" And he said, "Dude, that was 10 points. It was 10 hits." I was like, well, how powerful? Yeah. 30 seconds. I run outside. It hit me so hard I had to puke, and I run outside, and there's just like mushrooms growing out of the ground from the tree. And what saved me was I laid with my face on an air conditioner vent for like 7 hours, and I played Angry Birds on my girlfriend at the time's iPad, and that's the only thing that got me through that trip. But ever since then, I haven't been able to smoke like I used to. I get really paranoid. I'd be like think of terrible stuff. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever get like that?
You know what? I didn't really smoke a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't really start smoking a lot till I moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
And really, when I still drink a little, but I haven't really been drinking.
Yeah.
I just smoke at night
Yeah.
and a little bit here and there otherwise. But
So I feel like that's when it's worse for you. You smoke?
I just makes me not a lot. I'm trying to. I don't know. I just eat so much food, man. Like I can't quit eating food. And I'm like,
That's the worst side of it.
yeah.
Mine's like everybody I love and know is just gonna like tragically
Oh,
perish.
no,
you
I
know?
none of that.
I'm just like, but it's only sometimes. Like sometimes it's awesome and I'm really creative on it, or
yeah,
I'll be like, oh man, the world's pretty cool. It's like
Yeah.
the best time to be alive ever in the history of the world. And then other times it's just like, hell. You know?
Yeah.
there's definitely different strains for me. Like there's one Blue Dream. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
ever.
I've had Blue Dream in the past.
That one gives me like creative. Like I can like express and get through ideas in my head. And if I take notes, I'll remember them. You know?
Yeah, right. It's like, dude, I have solved so many of the world's problems high.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's like, damn. Or just like, I have this amazing chorus come to me when I'm laying in my bed, stoned, about to pass out, and then I'll be like, in the morning, I'll grab my guitar, and because I don't want to grab my phone that's right beside my face and just make a voice memo, you know.
For me, it's like I'm like, this sounds great, and then I watch myself play the next day, and I'm like, ugh. Like, it's just like a delay pedal. I'm like strumming an A minor chord. I'm like, hell yeah.
You're like, this is awesome.
These videos, so I can't forget this. Like, this has never been done before.
Over like a Bigsby on it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
Man.
Well, I
Well-
mean, yeah, just trying to stay as busy as I can to answer that question that we
Hey, that's
danced
it.
all around for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
All right. Elvie Shane, check him out. He's great. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I
Dude,
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This has been great.
Yeah, y'all are a good crew, man. I really
Yeah, dude.
appreciate
We would
you.
love to
It's
have
good
you
fun.
on anytime you want,
It
man.
felt like just hanging out and talking.
It was, man.
That's cool. That's
We
what it should
appreciate
be.
it.
You were like, man, I got to piss. And I was like, okay, so go piss. I'm like, oh, wait, we're cutting a podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot. I'm like, you don't need, you
There's
know
a
what I
little
mean?
edit, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
just
yeah.
forgot that we were even doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's like, you don't have to ask to go pee.
Yeah.
Just go pee.
You're good,
Yeah.
bud.
All right, everybody go piss. Have a good day.
All right, y'all. My name's Kurt Ozan.
I'm Nicky T.
And everyone
Elvie
go piss.
Shane.
Yeah, everybody pee when you need to. Yeah.